It is day 3 of Winterween. This morning was really fun because I got to premiere the first 2 days for the video on YouTube that had the music video in it as well, and it was really fun to get everybody's like real-time reactions again. And then this morning I just threw on my black like mock neck turtleneck, and then I just threw on this kind of like green gray sweater that my mom got me for Christmas. This one's like a little bit oversized on me, like it's just a little bit too big. I think she got a medium and I probably could have been a small, but either way it's very cozy and it's just kind of the vibe today. I actually think today is one of our last somewhat sunny days. I mean, not that it's like super sunny today, it's very like cloudy and kind of sunny, but today's the last day that we're gonna have like dry weather I think for a long time, because for these next few days it's gonna be raining and then we're gonna get snow. And so I kind of wanted to take advantage of the day and like go out into the world today. I think I'm just gonna take my cute little, you know, Winterween tote bag, and I think I'm gonna take these 3 books with me. I'm not entirely sure which one that I'm gonna read today. I know my heart is telling me that I need to read No One Can Know because this is the one that I'm personally the most excited about. And so we'll have to see. It feels like it most likely might be this one today just because I really need something that's gonna like capture my attention right now. So yeah, I think the plan for now is to just go out and get some breakfast. I think, you know, I would really love to pick up an acai bowl today because it's been a while. It's been a while since I've hit up my local acai bowl spot, and so I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then I don't know what the rest of the day has in store for me because I think I would like to go out to the park. I don't know, I think I'm just gonna have to play it by ear. But also later tonight are the Golden Globes, which I am very excited to watch the Golden Globes because I'm a huge like movie nerd, you know, like I love watching all the latest films that are being nominated for award season, but also because my girl Taylor Swift is gonna be rumored to be there at the Golden Globes tonight because I think the Eras Tour film is like nominated or something, I don't know. But like, hell yeah, even more of a reason to watch it for my girl Taylor. So yeah, let's go ahead and get the day started.
All I'm keeping track of is the weather, and there's no wind, no sun, nothing. 80 days and I'm not feeling better, but a sweet relief is finding me.
I wanted to do a quick update because I am now about 66 pages into No One Can Know. This morning I just drove down here to Bellingham and I went to Robex and I got an acai bowl, and yeah, it's only 38 degrees outside right now. Like, it's actually really freaking cold. I was gonna like try to come down here and read by the water, but I couldn't even be outside for more than like 10 minutes before my hands felt like they were turning into little popsicles. And so unfortunately, I haven't been able to read out at the park today like I thought that I would. I've just been reading in the car, but I got 66 pages into No One Can Know, and so far I'm really liking this. Like, so far I'm just having a great time. This is the same author, Kate Alice Marshall, as the book that I read last year for the booktube called What Lies in the Woods, and that book ended up being my first ever 5-star book for the booktube. Like, I know a lot of other people really didn't like that one, but I personally was trash for What Lies in the Woods. Like, I had so much fun with it and I thought it was great. So I've been highly anticipating this new book from this author, and so far this one is just living up to all of my expectations. But in this story, it's really interesting because we're following 3 sisters, which feels kind of similar to What Lies in the Woods because I feel like What Lies in the Woods also revolved around these 3 girls who were like best friends, and they all had this like secret about their past and something that happened and something that they were hiding from the rest of the world. And this book feels very similar in that way, that we're following these 3 sisters. Their parents were murdered, and one of the sisters, Emma, was like the prime suspect. Like, they think that she killed the parents for some reason, and now we're following them. We get 2 like alternating timelines. We're following 2 sisters. We're following the sisters Emma and Daphne, and we're going back and forth between the present day and then in the past. In the present day chapters, we're following the main protagonist is the sister Emma, and she's the one who's like accused of murdering her parents. And in the present day timeline with Emma, she's married to this guy now named Nathan. He doesn't really know a lot about her history, but he loses his job, and then she finds out that she's pregnant almost at the same time, and so they're kind of like financially a little bit scared for their situation. So he's like, what if we just move into your parents' house? Because like, I guess their parents' house is empty, but it's been left in some kind of trust that's with her and her sisters, but her and her sisters haven't spoken since her parents have been murdered. He doesn't know why the sisters don't talk anymore, and so she lets him know, like, okay, we can move into this house, but if we go back here, like, there's something you gotta know. And she's like, my parents didn't die in an accident, like, they actually were murdered, and people think that I was the one that did it. And so it's interesting because they're going back to this house. She's starting to reconnect with her sisters, who she hasn't really spoken to in years, and you're kind of trying to figure out, I guess, the real story about what happened with her parents. Like, I don't know who to suspect at this point. It's really interesting because she also, like, talks about this guy Gabriel that she had this thing with back in the day. Like, I think she was involved with him romantically, and so, like, that's starting to come into play in the first 50 pages. And I don't know, I'm really liking the setup of it so far. Like, I love stories like this where we follow characters both in the past and the present, and we're trying to, like, navigate secrets from the past, like what could have actually happened. I'm really glad that I decided to pick up this one today because I feel like whenever I start to hit a weird, like, reading slump or where I'm not in a good reading mood, it's usually, like, the mainstream thrillers that can, like, pull me right back into it. Like, usually the mainstream thrillers, I have so much fun reading these books, and that's why I really do think I pick up the thriller genre so often, is because I know I'm gonna have a freaking fun time trying to figure shit out. I just really like the way that Kate Alice Marshall writes her books. Like, I don't know, she writes really interesting characters, and I just really like the setup so far, so I think I'm gonna continue listening to this. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon right now, but I do think I'm gonna head back home just because it's so cold. I know I shouldn't be that surprised because it is like 38 degrees today, but for some reason, I was like, in my head, I was like, no, I can still go out and, like, read by the water today. This is what's so difficult about the winter season for me, is that I love, like, getting out of the apartment now and going and doing things, and the winter time just makes that so hard to do. And not only that, but, you know, the fact that it's so dark and gloomy most of the days during the winter, it makes it really hard for me to film and, like, get decent lighting. It's just so weird because in the past I've always been more of a winter girl than a summer girl, but, like, in the last year or two I'm starting to become more of a summer girl and less of a winter girl. I don't know, I mean, I still think my favorite time of the year, like, by far, is the fall. Like, the autumn is still, like, my favorite time of year, but for some reason in the winter I've just been struggling. Like, I have not been enjoying the winter as much as I usually do. I've just found it to be pretty miserable, like, especially once it hits this, like, January, February gloominess. Like, oh my god, I'm so over it. Like, I'm so ready for spring. And the way the sun just sets at, like, 3:30 now, it just feels like my whole day's gone. Like, I feel like I don't want to leave the house after the sun goes down, and, like, ugh. So let me know how you feel about the winter time. Like, are you also struggling with the winter this season, or is it just me? It's like, I usually do love the winter, and it makes me sad that for some reason these last 2 years I've just found it really difficult to get through the winter. Like, I almost miss the sun, which is something that I never thought that I would say because, you know, growing up in California for 20 years, I had enough sun to last a lifetime, and I was always like, I just want to experience the seasons. But I don't know, there's something about the gloominess of this winter in particular that's just, it's getting to me. I'm just ready for spring. I'm just really ready for this winter to be over. Anyways, let's go back to the apartment. I think I'm gonna make coffee when I get back to the apartment and hopefully try to finish up this book today because I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad that I'm enjoying it. It is now about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought I would give you another update. I ended up just changing into, like, a cozy hoodie because I wanted to be comfortable, and I started getting the worst, like, annoying cramps. So I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in bed and stay cozy, and I've been reading No One Can Know. I am now about 182 pages into this, so I'm a little bit more than halfway now. And I feel like, I don't know, the last 100 pages have been a little bit slow for me. I mean, I'm still really liking this setup, but I feel like it's taking some time for the thrilling aspects to really come into play, because just now there's finally something happening in the plot that I'm like, ooh, wait, like, things are starting to get really interesting now. But it's taken some time to get there. I feel like a lot of this story has involved a lot of, like, flashbacks of, like, these sisters growing up, and you can kind of see, like, how fucking awful their parents were. Their parents were, like, not only abusive, like, physically, but also mentally, and, like, they were just awful. And so it's really hard to read about those scenes because it's hard to see the parents being awful to their children. At this point point in time, we are reading from the perspective of all three sisters. I don't know why in the first 50 pages it was only the sisters Emma and Daphne, but now we are getting the third sister, Juliet. We are getting her point of view as well. And there's all kinds of drama that had happened with all three of these sisters back in the day. We get to read a lot about the different like messy relationships that these girls had when they were like teenagers. And I don't know, I feel like it has been a little bit slower in those last 100 pages, but I'm still really curious to see where it's going. I don't think I'll end up loving this one quite as much as I loved What Lies in the Woods, but I still think this is a pretty solid thriller so far. I guess it really just depends on where the story ends up going and like what the plot twists end up being. Like that'll really determine what I end up, rating this book overall. But I did want to mention though that this book, the premise in general, really does remind me of the book Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina, because in both of these stories we're following three siblings who are being accused of like murdering their parents. Because in Not a Happy Family we're following these three siblings who like their parents get brutally murdered. I think it's either on the night of Easter or like the night after Easter, and all three of them are supposed to be like inheriting a lot of money, like millions of dollars, because of their parents' death. And so the police immediately suspect them, and their parents were also some like really rich assholes. Like they were kind of the worst. But in this book you're also following from the point of view, I think you do get all three siblings' perspectives in this book, and so it definitely is reminding me of this one. I'll have to see once I finish this one which one of these I end up preferring, because I do think I really liked this one. I remember giving it probably like 4 stars, or maybe if not like a high like 3.5. I don't know, it's been a few years since I read this one when it came out in 2021, but the premise just really reminds me of this. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing for dinner tonight. I think we're doing burgers or something, but I will update you once I am done with this. Hopefully I should be getting done with it soon. It's about 8:30 at night now, but I wanted to update you because so many things have happened. We watched the entirety of the Golden Globes tonight, and the Golden Globes were okay. There were some categories that I was really excited about the winners, and then there were some that I was like really disappointed. I mean, I'm so stoked that the show Beef and the show The Bear just like kind of absolutely slayed, because I'm a huge fan of both of those shows, so I was so excited to see them win so many categories. I mean, I have not seen Anatomy of a Fall or Poor Things. Like those are two movies that I absolutely need to see because they slayed tonight at this award show. But Anatomy of a Fall ended up winning screenplay, which is like such a huge win. Like I really need to see that film. And then same with Poor Things. Like, oh my god, I can't believe Emma Stone actually won. Like that is so iconic of her. I'm kind of sad that Barbie didn't end up winning as much as I thought that it would. I mean, Barbie did end up beating Taylor Swift in her category, which, I mean, yeah, it sucks that Taylor lost, but at the same time I'm really happy that Barbie won, because I do think Barbie had such a huge impact on like box office and just on people's lives in general. Like Barbie was such a great time this summer, so I was really hoping that Barbie would win more tonight. I mean, I'm really happy that Billie Eilish won for the song in Barbie, the What Was I Made For, because that song can literally bring me to tears. But I'm also so upset that Past Lives ended up losing every single category it was nominated for. It had 5 nominations and it lost all of them. So like that is just unacceptable, because Past Lives was so great. And I know this is probably like a super unpopular opinion, but I did not really like Oppenheimer, which really sucks, because I am such a huge fan of Christopher Nolan as a director, but for some reason Oppenheimer just did not do it for me. Like I thought it was such a boring movie, and like, can we stop making this a thing where movies are like 3.5 hours long? Like I could do without that. Like I think 3 hours should be the absolute cap for how long a movie could be. Like nobody has time for that. Like 3.5 hour long movies, why? So I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but I was annoyed with how much Oppenheimer was winning. But anyways, let me know if you watched the Golden Globes. Let me know what you ended up thinking of them. I definitely have added a lot of films to my watch list, but at the top priority, I need to see Anatomy of a Fall and Poor Things, especially before the Oscar nominations come out. I'm hoping that Barbie will maybe slay a little bit more at the Oscars, and same with Past Lives. Like I'm rooting for them. Same with Saltburn. I was so upset that Barry didn't win for his role in Saltburn, but like whatever. But I wanted to let you know that I have finished listening to No One Can Know on audio, And I've gotta say, I feel like this book ended up being just alright for me. I don't know, I'm probably gonna end up giving this like 3 stars. You know, it really sucks because I was really enjoying and I was really invested in those first 100 pages or so. Then I do feel like the book started to drag just a little bit for me and I started to get bored. I feel like the story started to get bogged down by a lot of these flashback chapters that just didn't completely feel relevant to like what was going on. I think it was more for like character development, if anything, but I just didn't care as much as I wanted to. I don't know, there were some things about the ending that I was into and that I was surprised by, and then there were some things about the ending that I found to be really underwhelming. I feel like our main protagonist too in this book, Emma, she kind of drove me nuts sometimes. Like there were some things that she would do and say and I'd be like, girl, why? Why? What do you mean?
So sorry.
I thought I heard you.
Can I grab something?
Yeah.
Intrude.
I thought I heard like tapping on the door and I was like, what the fuck is that? Do you want to update people on your thoughts on the writing retreat so far?
There was only like 10 minutes.
Oh, Rachel's reading the writing retreat. Just for Winterween.
I'm barely in.
She's barely in. She's only read 10 pages, but so far,
It's good.
she's invested. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this one ended up just being just okay for me because I was so annoyed with the protagonist at times and because some of the ending was just a little bit underwhelming. Like, I don't know if it's just because of how much I loved What Lies in the Woods. So maybe my expectations going into this one were just a little bit too high. Like, I think they were just a tad bit too high. Not that 3 stars is a bad rating. Like, I still enjoyed this one. I would still recommend it. It was just a tad bit underwhelming for me, at least in comparison to What Lies in the Woods. Usually at the end of the night now, I have gotten into the routine of journaling like every single day because last year I did keep a journal for the whole year, but I usually was like the kind of person that I journal every like maybe 3 days. But now in 2024, I'm making it my goal to journal every single day because I'm a crazy person and I have 2 different journals. I have the one that my sister made me, you know, the one that I did a flip through in my last monthly vlog, that I'm just absolutely obsessed with this journal. But then I also, for the first time ever, I'm using a Hobonichi planner and I'm so excited about this Hobonichi planner. I'm like literally having the time of my life because in the Hobonichi planner, what I like about it is that there's monthly pages and then there's weekly pages and then there's even daily pages. So I thought I would give you a more closer look at what the daily spreads look like. But isn't this just so cute? They have this like blank page at the start of every month where you can just kind of put down whatever. So I just kind of put down TBR, video ideas, Patreon ideas, and new things because I'm trying to do a few new things every single month. And then this was the first page where I just kind of like listed out like my goals and my ideas. And then the second page, I put this poster because we ended up watching Saltburn that day. So like it's so fun that I can just like include little movie reviews within my days. I have this page on the 3rd day of January, and then I have this page where I did a little like cute little workout log thing. I also made a to-do list like on this actual page, which I think is so cute. And then this was the day that Winterween kicked off. I just printed off this little picture of me, which I thought turned out so cute. And then I wrote my whole review for the movie Past Lives that we watched. And then yesterday, I ended up printing off our little like Winterween reading sprints thumbnail that I made because I thought that would be so cute, and then I just kind of write about the day. It's been so much fun and I'm only a few days in. Like I can't imagine how cool this is going to be to flip back through once the year is over because there are literally like so many pages. I also thought it would be cool to show you, this is kind of how I'm using the weekly spreads so far. I love using these like little stickers throughout it. Whenever I go to the gym, I'll like use these little people walking stickers. Usually when I'm editing, I'll use these little like YouTube stickers, or when I watch something, I'll use these little like TV stickers. I have some for groceries. I have like little book ones that I can do. And then I've been tracking my sleep schedule on the top here just because I saw like people said you could track a whole bunch of different things in these, but I just thought it would be cool to kind of like track this and to get to see like how my sleep has been throughout the week. I'm just loving how this weekly spread has turned out. This is my first week ever doing a weekly spread in a Hobonichi planner, and I'm just loving it so much. Like I'm having so much fun with this. I'm starting to set up my week for the next week as well, and I think I might try to track different things for each month because I don't know if I'm always going to continue to track my sleep in this way. I've seen videos where you could track like all kinds of things on the top of this page, like maybe like how many pages you read that day, or like how many minutes you exercise, or different things like that. Like there are limitless opportunities to what I can track up here. But I'm just so excited to continue with this. And if you were wondering, my sister actually made me all these little stickers. Like she is so freaking kind, and she actually was able to make all of these for me. But I've seen tons of different shops online that have like little stickers like this that you can use in your planners, and I just think they're so cute. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to update my journal for the day, and I will see you in the morning. it's day 4 of Winterween and it's freaking snowing! Rachel literally like burst into my room this morning to wake me up to let me know that it's snowing. My mom texted me and she was like, oh my god, perfect Winterween weather. And I was like, yeah, lol, it's so cold. And it's freaking snowing. I've got the Summerween on today, but we're both wearing the same color. This should be illegal. Monster Mash, bitch. I don't know why I didn't think to get any of the Winterween merch in like a hoodie. Dumb, I'm so dumb. Believe, oh, he's pushing his way through. Oh, buddy. Oh.
All I'm keeping track of is the weather, and there's no wind, no sun, nothing. 80 days a moonlit, feeling better, but a sweet relief is finding me. There's no love under the portrait. Ain't got no loyalties, no one to please.
This morning has been pretty awesome because it's been snowing pretty nonstop. It actually looks like it's starting to stick a little bit in the street now, which is crazy. Like I wasn't expecting it to actually snow today. It was just showing rain on our weather and we weren't supposed to get snow for another couple of days, which I'm actually kind of excited about because we just haven't had snow in a really long time. Like this is our first snow of the season. Anyways, I ended up straightening my hair and having a really productive morning. I ended up finding these little like monthly divider things on one of my sticker sets. It's really nice actually because it's each one of the months so that I can easily flip to these months. So I spent some of this morning putting these in. I also ended up finding one of my old writing journals from back in 2019. And this is a journal that I used to write in when I was really passionate about wanting to write a book. And so I have so many different ideas in here and I was just flipping through them. I wrote so many notes on like tips for writing certain kinds of fiction. And it was just so much fun going through this morning. It really like inspires me to want to get back into writing. So I was thinking about that a lot this morning. And then while I've been doing all of these things this afternoon, I actually got started on the audiobook for The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I got all the way up to page 76. God, I feel so torn about this right now. Like, I actually kind of want to DNF it. And it's truly unfortunate because I don't think that this is a bad book. It's just not really my thing. It's just not really pulling me in the way that I want it to. I mean, in this story, we're following this woman who's a witch, and her name is Micah Moon, which I think is a really fucking cool name, by the way. Like, I love alliteration like that, like Micah Moon, and like Moon as a last name in general, so cool. But anyways, she is a witch who has been like hiding her magic, and she's trying not to like mingle with other witches because apparently it says if you mingle with other witches, it can make your powers like mingle. I don't really understand. Like, they don't want to draw attention to themselves as witches. And she has this social media account, I guess, where she posts videos pretending to be a witch, which she's thinking nobody's taking it seriously until one day somebody does. It says an unexpected message arrives begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious Nowhere house to teach 3 young witches how to control their magic. And so she ends up going to this Nowhere house where like there's these young witches that are living there, and there's just like a whole bunch of people living there. It's feeling very like found family vibes because all of these people are so lonely, but it's all like all these witches gathering. So I'm like, isn't this bad because all of their powers are gonna like mingle or something? I don't know. I mean, this feels very cozy. Like, I definitely see how people would refer to this as like a cozy fantasy. It actually reminds me a lot of The House in the Cerulean Sea, like just to compare it to something, because it's giving me that same cozy vibe in the way it's like a house full of people who are kind of orphans and lonely, and like they rely on each other, and it's slightly magical. But I don't know, personally, I just think I'm not really in the mood for something like this. Like, I don't know if this is something I would ever be in the mood for, because it's a lot of like, you know, her teaching the witches how to control their power. So it's a lot of like casting spells and doing all kinds of spells and memorizing spells. And I'm just kind of bored. Like, it's just not really my thing. I think it's actually really hard for me to find my perfect kind of like witchy book because I'm not a huge fantasy reader. And so sometimes like the witchy elements, like when they're like casting spells or doing anything that feels a little bit fantasy, I just tend to get bored. And so I do think it's actually really rare for me to end up really loving a book that's revolving around witches. I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm probably gonna DNF this for now just because I don't want to push myself to read something that I'm not super interested in. And it sucks because because I did want to read this specifically for this readathon because, you know, it's Winterween and we're doing the witch theme this time around. And it just felt like to me, like if there was ever a time for me to read this book, it would be during Winterween. But I do think I just need to accept the fact that this is just not my genre. This is not my kind of book, and that's okay. I know that I've been DNFing like so many books left and right throughout this readathon. I know that's probably so annoying, so I'm sorry. I can't make up my mind. But I've just gotten some things in the mail recently that I am so tempted to read, even though I don't even know if they fit into any of the prompts very well. But I think part of the reason why I'm struggling too this week is because I keep picking up books that don't feel like I should be reading them during Winterween. You know what I mean? Because when I think of Winterween in my head, I'm like, give me all of the horrors and the thrillers. But because we have like a witch theme this time around, I was like, okay, maybe I'll, you know, try to get out of my comfort zone and do some like witchy, you know, like cozy fantasy kind of books like this. Or like I'll be reading romance books like Payback's a Witch. It's not the right vibe. Like it doesn't feel right for me for Winterween to be reading stuff like this, especially when I've gotten some exciting things in the mail recently that are horror that I could be reading. And so I'm debating if I should just like, you know, scrap the entire TBR or like anything left on my TBR, if I should just freaking scrap it and maybe pick up one of these instead. Because for example, Eric LaRocca recently sent me his newest collection of short horror stories. This one actually goes on sale in February and I am just so incredibly excited to read this. This one is actually 4 short stories and I love Eric LaRocca so much, so I'm very tempted to read this, even though I don't know if this would technically fit into any of the prompts for Winterween. But I'm really just debating reading this for Winterween because I'm like, it's horror, so it feels right. I also have Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones, which was so kindly recently sent to me from Whitney off my Amazon wishlist. And this is a horror novella that I've been extremely interested in for a long time. It's only about 100 pages long, and I feel like horror novellas are like the perfect things for readathons like this. So this is another one I'm thinking about reading. And then, oh my god, Casey just sent me this book Bloom off my Amazon wishlist, which this is another horror book. This one's sapphic. I am so excited to read this, especially after Riley ended up having this. I think this was her #1 book in her best books of the year video that I just watched. And so I've been hella intrigued. I'm looking for any reason to read this and fit it into a video somehow. And it's so short. This one's only about 200 pages. So I just feel like one of these 3 might be calling my name. I might actually just try to read all 3 of these books for the rest of this readathon. I don't know. I feel like they're all short and they're horror and they just kind of fit the vibes that I'm looking for. So I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now, reading wise. I am very excited though because it's about 2:30 in the afternoon right now, but around 4:30 in about 2 hours, my parents are coming to pick up me and Rachel because we're gonna be going out to a steakhouse tonight to celebrate Rachel and Obed's recent engagement. If you hadn't heard, my sister actually got engaged on Christmas Day, and ever since we've been trying to figure out a night that we can all go out and celebrate together. My parents really wanted to go and take them out to a steakhouse, so we're gonna be going tonight and I'm so excited because I haven't been to a steakhouse in like a really fucking long time. Like it's been such a long time. Oh my gosh, this place that we're going to is freaking Chef's Kiss, like one of my favorite steakhouses, so like I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. So yeah, I'm probably just going to get a head start on editing this vlog that you're seeing so I can actually get it up by tomorrow, and then I might go ahead and dip my toe into one of these books. I will come back at you with updates when I have them. Wow, this is a look. Look at that. Big. Love those jeans.
Thanks.
It's great. Got this. And ripped jeans. Pink weed. I think you're actually XL French. it's about 8 o'clock at night. I just got home from dinner with my family. It was so freaking good. I got a bacon wrapped filet mignon steak. Oh my gosh, it was freaking delicious, like so incredible. But I did want to update you because I have finished the first short story in This Skin Was Once Mine. And this first short story was the story that's called This Skin Was Once Mine. And this short story was the longest one in the collection, actually. This one was 99 pages. I actually decided to mark off how long all the other short stories are because there's only 4 in this whole collection. Oh my gosh, dude. Eric LaRocca, like me and Eric LaRocca are on the same wavelength because I think that first short story, it might have been a 5-star for me. Like I'm still sitting here thinking about it. Like it might be like maybe around a 4.5 or maybe a 5-star. I don't know, but I freaking loved it. It was so weird. It was so like on brand with like the typical Eric LaRocca. Like it makes you very uncomfortable and disturbed. I love that in typical Eric LaRocca fashion. We are following a queer protagonist. Her name is Julian and she has this girlfriend. Well, I don't even know if she's her girlfriend really, but she's with this girl named Pia. And right at the beginning of this short story, this girl Pia, she writes this poem for her that I just thought was so beautiful. It says, "Little stars hang in an ocean where you and I will never dream. I wonder if they smell like cinnamon or lilies floating on a stream. I watch them bloom in fiery showers, smeared and dripping there like morning dew. I'll never know what they smell like, my love, but I can only imagine they smell as sweet as you." Like, what the heck? That was so cute. So right off the bat, I freaking loved that. I also love that this short story, it was going back and forth in timeline between the year 2021 and then it was flashing back to 2001. And in 2021, she finds out that her dad has recently passed away. And that's mainly what the story's about in 2021 is that she's going to be going back to her house because her mother has invited her to her dad's funeral. But she was sent away from her home 20 years ago. So she hasn't seen her family in 20 years. And she feels like she's a monster. Like she feels like she's not a good person. She really idolized her dad when she was younger. And when she's going back to the house for her dad's funeral, she uncovers some disturbing secrets that her family's been hiding. And it was just so weird and so interesting. I love stories like this where we're following a protagonist who like we don't know if we can really trust their perspective. Like are they a good person? Like we don't really know. I also just wasn't expecting that short story to go in the direction that it went in. I feel like Eric LaRocca is just so good at writing horror that just really gets under your skin and feels so creepy. There are definitely a lot of trigger warnings, especially in this particular story. And I mean, Eric LaRocca always does an amazing job with a content warning at the front of the book so that you know what you're getting yourself into when you go to read this. I also think it's so interesting that the dedication is for Paul Tremblay. Like that's really cool. I had no idea that Eric LaRocca and Paul Tremblay were that close that he would dedicate a book to him. Like how cool is that? But anyways, I absolutely loved the first short story in this collection. So things are going very well. I'm so glad I decided to pick this one up today. And there are 3 more short stories. The next one is only about 30 pages or less. Like the next one is pretty short. So I might try to read one more later tonight before bed. But I think that's gonna be a wrap on day 4 of Winterween. Oh my gosh, how are we already 4 days in? Like this is going by so fast. So you'll have to let me know once again, how has the readathon been going for you so far? What has been your favorite book that you've read for the readathon so far? How many books have you read for the readathon so far? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments below. And you could be expecting one more Winterween vlog from me. I'm going to be combining days 5, 6, and 7 into one vlog that'll hopefully be going up on either the 12th or the 13th of January. I can't wait to finish this up in my next vlog and I'll let you know all of my thoughts on the rest of these. So far, so good. So I have good feelings about this. But thank you so much for watching as always and I'll see you soon. Bye!